F1 records that will never be broken. In Formula One, records are meant to be broken.
Jumping into an early lead is Juan Fangio, number 1, the former bus driver from the Argentine, and today the most successful racing motorist on the continent.
Except the ones that absolutely never will. From ancient legends on the grid, to races so long they changed the rules.
Morning on the verge of an historic 92nd win in Formula One. Records are there to be broken, said Michael Schumacher. The record is broken.
Some feats are frozen in time, never to be touched again. Whether it's a 55-year-old tearing up Monaco, a car crossing the line 5 minutes ahead of the rest, or a rain-soaked marathon that made the sport rethink time itself, these moments are pure F1 mythology. Buckle up as we dive into the craziest, most unbreakable records in Formula One history. Some are weird, some are wild, and all are unbeatable. 1. Oldest Grand Prix. Winner, Luigi Fagioli, 1951. Luigi Fagioli holds a record so extreme, it borders on surreal. At 53 years and 22 days old, he won the 1951 French Grand Prix driving for Alfa Romeo, making him the oldest driver to ever win a Formula One race. Fagioli wasn't just a relic on the grid, he was a beast behind the wheel. In fact, he shared the winning car with Juan Manuel Fangio due to team strategy. But under F1 rules, that still counts as a win. With today's drivers retiring in their 30s and the sport demanding insane physical fitness, it's hard to imagine a driver in his 50s even qualifying, let alone winning. Fagioli's record stands not only as a tribute to his tenacity, but also as a reminder of how wildly different F1 once was. Second oldest F1 race starter, Louis Chiron, 1955. Imagine seeing someone old enough to collect a pension, lining up on an F1 grid. That was Louis Chiron in 1955, when he started the Monaco Grand Prix at a jaw-dropping 55 years and 292 days old. And this wasn't a publicity stunt. Chiron was no slouch. He qualified fair and square, drove a competitive race, and even finished 6th. A veteran of pre-war Grand Prix racing, Chiron adapted to the post-war F1 era with pure grit. With today's athleticism, G-force endurance, and reaction speed requirements, a 55-year-old racer would be lapped before the first pit stop. Chiron's record is so far beyond modern possibility that it doesn't just feel unbreakable, it feels untouchable. He remains a timeless legend who bridged eras and outlasted generations. 3. Longest total race time. Canadian GP, 2011. The 2011 Canadian Grand Prix wasn't just a race, it was a cinematic epic. Clocking in at a mind-numbing 4 hours and 4 minutes, it holds the record for the longest F1 race ever. Torrential rain caused multiple red flags and safety car periods, turning what should have been a high-speed thriller into an endurance test for drivers and fans alike. But here's the kicker. This marathon of a race led the FIA to revise the rules, capping race time to 3 hours maximum, including stoppages. That means this record can never be beaten by regulation. Oh, and the race ended in absolute drama, with Jenson Button going from last place to first in one of the greatest comebacks ever. F1 may be fast, but on that day, it was anything but. 4th biggest winning margin, Jim Clark, 1963 Belgian Grand Prix. We're talking domination so brutal, it feels unfair. In the 1963 Belgian Grand Prix, Jim Clark won by nearly 5 minutes, a lifetime in racing terms. Driving for Lotus, Clark lapped nearly the entire field, under treacherous wet conditions, at the old Spa-Francorchamps, a track notorious for its danger and 14-kilometer length. His car, his skill, and the weather combined into a perfect storm of supremacy. To put it in perspective, in today's F1, winning by 10 seconds is considered a blowout. Modern safety cars, red flag rules, and tighter competition mean such a margin is mathematically impossible now. Jim Clark didn't just win, he annihilated the field in a way that's legendary, terrifying, and most importantly, unrepeatable. 5th most Grand Prix. Starts without a podium. Nico Hülkenberg, 200 race starts. Nico Hülkenberg holds a record no driver wants, but somehow it's become legendary. With over 200 race starts and not a single podium to his name, the Hulk has built a career of near misses, bad luck, and driving midfield machinery to its absolute limits. He's finished 4th multiple times. He's led races. He's outqualified champions. Yet that elusive top 3 finish never happened. In a sport where talent doesn't always meet timing, Hülkenberg's record is a heartbreaker and likely unbreakable. Modern F1 doesn't allow for that kind of longevity without results. Today, if you don't deliver quickly, you're out. But Nico, he's still on the grid, still fighting. His streak is both a curse and a cult badge of honor. 6th most races led without a win. Chris Amon, 183 laps. Chris Amon is often called the best F1 driver never to win a Grand Prix, and his record proves it. The New Zealander led a total of 183 laps across his career, but never saw the checkered flag first. Whether it was engine failures, tire issues, or just plain bad luck, Amon was cursed with near misses. He drove for top teams like Ferrari and Matra, and his talent was undeniable. He could out-qualify legends and outdrive champions. But victory always slipped through his fingers. In modern F1, where top teams dominate and opportunities are fewer, it's unlikely a driver would lead that many laps and never convert it into a win. Amon's legacy is both heartbreaking and heroic, a career defined by brilliance and brutal fate. 7. Longest time between first and last win. Riccardo Patrese, 6 years, 6 months, 28 days. Riccardo Patresi's career is a masterclass in staying power. When he won the 1982 Monaco Grand Prix, no one could have guessed it would take over 6.5 years for him to win again. But that's exactly what happened. His final win came at the 1992 Japanese Grand Prix, creating the longest time gap between a driver's first and last F1 victories. 6 years, 6 months, and 28 days. In a sport that constantly cycles a new talent and ditches the old, Patrese proved consistency and adaptability pay off. His comeback wins, especially in the high-tech Williams of the early 90s, sealed his reputation as a reliable and skilled racer. Today, most drivers don't even stay in F1 that long, making this record borderline untouchable. 8. Most races before. First win, Sergio Perez, 190 races. Sergio Checo Perez waited an agonizing 190 races before tasting victory, and when he did, it was unforgettable. The 2020 Sakir Grand Prix saw him recover from a first-lap collision to win for Racing Point, becoming the driver with the longest wait for a maiden win. Before that moment, Checo had been the nearly man of F1, brilliant on tire strategy, clutch under pressure, but always just out of reach of the top step. His win wasn't just overdue, it was explosive proof that persistence pays off. In the modern era, where only a handful of drivers can realistically win due to team dominance, it's hard to imagine someone else enduring nearly 200 races before breaking through. Perez turned heartbreak into history, and his record is likely to last. 9th, most podiums without a win. Nick Heidfeld, 13 podiums. Nick Heidfeld holds the frustrating record for most podiums without a single win. 13 trips to the top 3, but never to the top step. Driving for teams like Sauber, BMW, and Renault, Heidfeld was consistent, smart, and often faster than his more celebrated teammates. He had the skill to mix it with the front-runners, but never quite had the car or the circumstances go his way when it mattered most. In today's performance-centric world, drivers who can't win often don't last long. The fact that Heidfeld had such a long career without ever sealing a victory makes his record stand out. It's a bittersweet legacy, proof of elite performance, yet a reminder of how narrow the line is between being good and being a race winner. 10. Oldest race winner, Luigi Fagioli, 53 years, 22 days. Luigi Fagioli's name might not ring many bells today, but he holds one of F1's most mind-blowing records. The oldest driver to win a race at 53 years and 22 days. He achieved this at the 1951 French Grand Prix while driving for Alfa Romeo. At the time, the sport was still forming its identity, and drivers well past what we'd now consider their prime were still competing. What makes this record unbeatable today is how dramatically the sport has changed. The physical demands, constant fitness regimens, and younger talent pipeline make it nearly impossible for someone even over 40 to win a race, let alone someone in their 50s. Fagioli's win stands as a symbol of another era, when experience really could beat youth and speed. 11th, longest career without a championship. Rubens Barrichello, 19 seasons. Rubens Barrichello's F1 journey is the definition of endurance. He raced for 19 seasons, clocking up 322 Grand Prix entries, the most of any driver who never won a world title. Despite driving for top-tier teams like Ferrari and Brawn GP, Barrichello always seemed to be in the shadow of someone else. Whether it was Michael Schumacher during Ferrari's dominance or Jenson Button during Brawn's dream season, He was fast, dependable, and universally respected, but the ultimate prize always stayed out of reach. In today's short tenure F1 environment, where careers often last fewer than 10 years without results, Rubens' sheer longevity makes this record hard to match. He was a team player, a fan favorite, and a reminder that greatness isn't always defined by titles. From ageless legends to podiums without glory, these F1 records aren't just numbers. They're stories etched in rubber, grit, and relentless pursuit. They remind us that greatness in this sport isn't always about championships. Sometimes it's about standing out in ways no one else ever has, or ever will. If these mind-bending records made you see Formula One in a whole new light, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives, and keep your helmet on, because in the world of F1, history isn't just made at the finish line, it's made every time the lights go out. Catch you in the next lap of F1 legends and lore.